Well, the United States is at war. And according to President Trump, the United States will not lose this war. We will finish this war at all costs. Look at this right here. It says 6 killed after U.S. strikes another boat off the coast of Venezuela. What's happening right now, and President Trump has been very clear on this, is that the United States is going to go after drug traffickers. The United States is at a war with drugs and drug cartels. I want to read a little of this to you. It says right here, the U.S. military conducted yet another strike on a boat alleged to be trafficking drugs off the coast of Venezuela, killing 6 people on board, President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday. Here's what's concerning. It was an alleged drug trafficking boat off the coast of Venezuela. Okay? According to reports, there was no confirmation of where it was coming from or what was on the boat. And this has a lot of people concerned, especially members of Congress. It says members of Congress are growing concerned over lack of information from the administration about Venezuela strikes. It says Republicans and Democrats say the administration is failing to share basic information with Congress about the intelligence, rationale, and goals of its war on drug trafficking. Here's what I can tell you. Right now, the United States is sending signals to the rest of the world, not just to Venezuela, to the entire world. Look what just popped up just a short while ago. This was actually earlier on today. This is early this morning. Look at this right here. It says, okay, 3 B-52 bombers have been spotted flying between Cuba and Mexico. Here they are. These are the Boeing B-52 right here. Okay, 3 of them. You can see them right here in the middle of the screen. They were spotted flying south. Now, what is going on with this? Why is the United States sending 3 B-52 stealth bombers? These are strategic bombers. Okay? Why are we sending these down south? Now, there's going to be a lot of speculation, and there will be reports, and you'll probably see articles that people are saying they're going to hit Venezuela. It's happening today. Now, according to reports, that's not what the United States is doing. Okay, I want to read something to you. It says, reports indicate that the U.S., that this isn't the United States going to bomb Venezuela at the moment. This is still a possibility, but at the moment, that is not what the United States is doing. It says, this is likely the United States showing Venezuela that they are serious and showing all countries they mean business. It says, the same goes for the United States striking drug boats that are headed towards the U.S. It says, they are shooting them out of the water to show Venezuela and other countries that they mean business. It says, for the United States, it was always difficult to stop drug boats from making their way into the U.S. That's how drug trafficking really ramped up, is through water. It says, but now with President Trump shooting them out of the water, this changes everything. And it does. But this also will likely increase the chances of the United States going to war with another country or with these drug cartels. And this is the warning that many are giving at the moment. Okay? There's warnings from many U.S. officials that are saying the same thing. That drug cartels, once they start to see their stash and their supply get hit time after time after time, what's likely going to happen is they are going to start to target the American people. And here's the problem. The drug cartels in Mexico, they could turn and start targeting the American people in Mexico. Okay, the same thing for drug cartels in Venezuela or Colombia or anywhere else. They could start targeting the American people and holding American people almost hostage in order to get the Trump administration to stop hitting their boats. Guess what? The United States is not going to negotiate with a terrorist. And President Trump has made it very clear that these are narco-terrorists. Now I want to show you something. Look at this right here. It says, Pete Hegseth's call to prepare for war comes not a moment too soon. Now what exactly does that mean? Well, if you don't remember, back on September 30th, Pete Hegseth and President Trump, they got hundreds of generals and admirals together in Virginia, and pretty much he told them to prepare for war. I want to read something to you. Look at this right here. It says, Hegseth, to his credit, is going to great lengths to get a bloated War Department into shape for war. Today, there are about 840 active duty flag officers, one general or admiral for every 1,500 members of the armed forces. At the end of the World War II, there was one flag for every 6,000 members. He says he wasted no time in the all call of flag officers in channeling the ghost of General George C. Marshall, Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army in the Second World War. Says Hegseth's comparison of the relationship between Marshall and Secretary of War Henry Stimson to his relationship with Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, sent a lightning bolt through the senior level audience. Marshall cleared the decks of ineffective generals, firing about 195 of them in his first 6 months. He's not only are we saying we need to prepare for war, he's threatening generals as well. Guess what? They are going to do more to protect the United States. But I want to read something else to you, okay? This is the reason why this is concerning. Look at this right here. It says, the times today are critical as well. China's regime is engaged in the fastest military buildup since the Second World War. It is trying to sanctions-proof itself. It is stockpiling grain and other commodities. It is calling up reservists and seizing factories making products for civilians. Xi Jinping has been firing military officers opposed to war. Xi's favorite phrase these days is "dare to fight." Says he is mobilizing all of society for prolonged battle. This is what the United States is up against. Now, are we going to battle with China? As of right now, the answer is no. But the concern is that the United States is likely going to be fighting all these little wars. They're going to be in the mix. Look what China's doing right now. It says, and Xi is doing more than just preparing. The Chinese military is initiating confrontations in skies and seas from South Korea in the north to Australia in the south. It is fighting proxy wars on two continents, Europe in Ukraine, through Russia and Asia, in the Middle East, through Iran. Beijing in North Africa has also been fueling insurgencies that look like wars. For decades, China has helped Islamabad in its campaign of terror against India. In the meantime, the American military is generally in peace mode, run by what President Trump called Washington generals or television generals in his remarks at Quantico. This is why we are preparing for war. So like this person said, for the United States, it was always difficult to stop drug boats from making their way into the U.S. But now, with Trump shooting them out of the water, this changes everything. This is the United States showing Venezuela, as well as the rest of the world, that we mean business. That's what's happening at this time. Now, that strike, okay? That strike that came in, and I want to read this to you. Look at this right here. This is the strike just yesterday. It says right here, Trump said that the vessel was affiliated with a designated terrorist organization, but did not name any organization or provide evidence to back up the assertion. It says, intelligence confirmed the vessel was trafficking narcotics, was associated with illicit narco-terrorist networks, and was transiting along a known DTO route. says the strike was conducted in international waters and 6 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed in the strike. No U.S. forces were harmed. Okay, that is the 5th time the United States have struck a boat coming from Venezuela or the South to the United States. Now, I want to show you this one as well, because this is not going to end just by people turning over. It says 26 years of dictatorship and narco-terrorism in Venezuela are about to end. Okay, what does this mean? Well, it says the war on drugs is no easy task, especially in an environment of impunity and resilience. The cartel of the Suns, for example, led by Nicolas Maduro, has remained entrenched in power for 26 years. It says in his first term, President Trump declared Maduro a narco-terrorist and launched a barrage of economic sanctions, recognized a different man as interim president, established a coalition of 50 countries, and placed a $15 million bounty on the tyrant and his cronies. It didn't work. It says in 2025, Trump faces Maduro once again. His administration has deployed destroyers, nuclear submarines, amphibious ships, drones, F-35 fighter planes, and a $50 million bounty, the largest in U.S. history. This time, says the United States is determined to finish the job. A report by New York Times noted that the Trump administration has drawn up multiple military plans for an escalation. Those operations could also include plans designated to force Maduro from power. But it all starts with shooting these boats out of the water, which means the United States is at war with these drug cartels, and specifically from Venezuela. So, we're going to see what happens over the next several months. They do believe this is likely going to last a while, but as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.